Thank you. Everyone, please, no, please. You're embarrassing me. Have a seat. Shut the fuck up. Thank you for listening to the Seventh Heaven Podcast. I'm your host, Evan Myers. You can follow me on Twitter at Seventh Heaven. You can follow me on Instagram at Seventh Heaven Pod. You can listen to the show on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Google, etc., Podbean, YouTube, Rumble. I have still not figured out Odyssey because I'm a boomer. At least boomer's a state of mind, I should say. I'm not an actual boomer. I was born in the early 90s. Many moons after the boomers started, but it is a state of mind. Being a boomer is a state of mind, and I would encourage everyone to follow that dream. It's good to be back. It's good to be on in front of a microphone. I appreciate the listeners, all of you, the millions of you, the billions of you, the world. Listen, I have nothing to say except good things about my listeners. Now, are some of them creepy? Yes. Do some of them stalk me? Sure. Do I get harassed at a grocery store? Every time. But I will say this about my listeners. You guys are all right, okay? Don't get too ahead of yourself here. We got a great show planned for you today, a great show. Talking about the most important issues facing this nation. First, Gavin Newsom went missing for 9 days. That's odd. It's very odd. He canceled all of his public appearances, including a climate summit. And it was shortly after he got his booster shot. Unrelated, I'm sure. But he went off the grid for a minute, and they said he was spending time with his family, and then now they say that he was in the Capitol building working on very important things. Very odd. Just seems very odd that a sitting governor goes missing for 9 days. Unrelated to getting a booster shot. Completely unrelated. Just seems odd. Wouldn't it be funny? Not that it would be funny. It would not be funny. But wouldn't it be kind of be funny if, the booster just, boosted him out of office, Be kind of funny. Like, the recall couldn't do it, but Pfizer did it, I think that'd be a good time. I think it'd be great. I think it'd be a great news cycle if someone died from a booster shot. We need this COVID stuff has gotten boring. We need a new angle. We just need a new angle. There's too many people who've grown complacent, and now we need to think that the boosters are going to murder you. We just need that. It would be good for the news. It'd be good for America. We need more content. We need to talk about a new angle on this story. Otherwise, it's just going to go away. And I think the best way is if, the booster was deadly. But not like super deadly, but just like Russian roulette deadly. Like 1 out of every 6 people just dropped. Wouldn't that be great? Great content. It's weird. War sells newspapers, you know? People don't read the news when things are going peaceful. They're just like, oh, everything's good. But when everything's bad, they get hooked. They get hooked on the news. I always find that kind of odd. I like to read good news, you know? Like, I like it when people are like, oh, everything worked out. I'm like, great. I'm glad to hear. But now people are obsessed with things not working. Everything has to be fucked up and broken. And like you ever watch these movies where like it's all bad and then at the very end it just gets worse? And people are like, oh, well, that's like real life. And I'm like, great. I'm glad I took a break from my life for 2.5 hours to find out that life sucks. I appreciate that. But we do. We need more content in this world. And everything's just content. If the news were good, we'd have nothing to talk about. And we don't want that, because then it's just awkward silence. Kind of like that. Just long, lingering silence. Are you uncomfortable yet? See, this is why we need the news to pump out interesting things so we can have something to discuss, and I can just keep talking instead of having you wait for the next sentence. Well, like I was saying, we got a great show for you today. Outside of Gavin going missing, he came back. It's unfortunate. Not saying that I would like him to die. I'm not saying that I would like him to die. I'm not. I'm just saying I would like the content that would happen if the booster shot was actually a tool of genocide. I would just like the content that we get out of that. You know? Give me something to talk about. It would give me something to talk about so that my millions and billions of listeners, the greatest listeners in the world, so they would know. They would go, hey, this guy's saying something. This guy's saying something. And I am saying something. I'm saying content is king. Speaking of content, a vaccinated NFL player was hospitalized with COVID, a breakthrough case in COVID. Oh, God. Here's the content. You may be vaccinated, but you're also going to die. See, look at this NFL player. This fella's name is Dakota Dozier. And he according to Yahoo, he experienced a breakthrough case of COVID-19 and was hospitalized after experiencing difficulty breathing. Huh. That's odd. I think that is an odd sort of case because, you know, the narrative has been that this past week, if you pay attention to the NFL, that Aaron Rodgers has endangered hundreds, if not thousands of lives because he was not vaccinated. And then this fella got a breakthrough case. And now he's in the hospital. And this is my favorite. I love the comments that are like, Well, imagine how much worse it would be if he wasn't vaccinated. Well, that's a nice circular thought. I saw that, like, when fucking Colin Powell died, they were like, oh, yeah, and this is a reminder to get vaccinated. It's like, what? That's your takeaway from this? The man was in his mid-80s with cancer in his blood. He was vaccinated. He got COVID and he died. Did he die because he was, exposed or what? I don't know. I think when you're in your mid-80s and you have blood cancer, your odds of survival go down. And so I don't know what a vaccine is going to do when the China virus swoops in, you know? I don't know. Seems odd to me. Seems odd. But Dakota, he'd be dead if he wasn't vaccinated. I love that logic. I really do. Like, how do you guys think, like, how do you know, like, what if he would have been better? What if maybe it was the doubling of contact with this thing that made him worse? I don't know. Maybe the vaccine is a placebo. I don't know. But it's kind of weird that a guy's vaccinated and then has to go to the hospital. It seems like that's not a ringing endorsement of a vaccine. That's what I would think. And I'm not a very knowledgeable person on this. I'm not a scientist, but I would think, like, if you had the polio vaccine and then you got polio, I would say the vaccine didn't work. I mean, that's polio. I know these are different, but I feel like, like I think I got the polio vaccine. I have not had polio. But then again, I have not gotten the COVID vaccine, and I have still not gotten COVID. So what does that mean? It's odd. It's just odd. It's odd because the news, the sports media is like not talking about it. It's funny. There's two stories going on simultaneously right now in sports media. The first is this one. The other one is that his teammate, Dalvin Cook, is being accused of domestic violence. He is claiming innocence and that this woman is trying to extort him. Her text went to the Minneapolis Star, a newspaper, and she had pictures of herself bruised and beaten, and some text interaction where he's apologizing about how that shouldn't have happened. I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know if Dalvin Cook's innocent. I do know he had trouble at Florida State, and a lot of teams passed on him because they thought he was trouble. And he's, to his credit, seems like he's kind of kept his nose clean since being in the NFL. But now this pops up, and there's obviously, again, I don't know. I believe in due process. But in this strange new world where the media will destroy you for supposedly doing something, you can ask Ezekiel Elliott, Jameis Winston about that. In that world, it only makes sense that you would be talking about Dalvin Cook. Instead, they're just going, oh, this is a delicate issue, and we just need to know more, and he's expected to play Sunday. Okay. Interesting. No one has posted. It's funny that I've not once seen anyone post the pictures. It's so odd. They're not showing the pictures of the woman's battered face, which seems strange to me because they're all visual. This is a visual medium that they all practice in. These are people that show highlights for a living. And there's a compelling image of a woman's face bruised and beaten, alleging that it happened at the hand of Dalvin Cook, and they're not talking about it. And they're not talking about his teammate being hospitalized after getting COVID despite being vaccinated. What they are talking about is Aaron Rodgers, because he did the grave act, the sinful act of not wearing his mask at a press conference. By the way, all those journalists are all vaccinated. Those guys were frontline fucking, give me the shot. Like, they were right there. They went right up to the front. And they're mad that this guy said he's immunized and didn't say he was vaccinated. It's so funny. It's so funny to me. They want it both ways. Like, Mina Kimes was on Twitter going on about Dave Portnoy. I don't know. He's the head of Barstool, and Business Insider put out this fucking article by the way, behind a paywall. This is always funny to me when they put things like the news put shit behind paywalls, because I'm like, it's not that important. Like, this is not an important thing, because you're just trying to drive up your subscription. And I'm telling you, if you're paying for Business Insider, you're a fucking tard. What are you doing? What on earth are you doing? These idiots can sell ads. Why do everyone else has to sell ads? Why do the news have such a hard time selling ads? Maybe because they don't put out a good product. I don't know. But what are you going to do? But it's just funny, you know? It's funny to me that they do this, where they go, here's the most important news story in the world, accusing a famous person of sexual assault. Now, they didn't specifically claim sexual assault. It was just this woman's claiming, it's just like, well, I actually don't even know what she's claiming, because I didn't fucking pay for it. I do know what Dave Portnoy said, and I know he put out screenshots of, his awkward it's not, hey girl, do you miss this dick? Yeah, I miss your dick. Ugh. It looked like whatever they had was consensual based on that. And you got Mina Kimes being like, oh, this is the importance of consent. People don't understand consent. Okay, Dalvin Cook might have broken his fucking girlfriend's face. Where's the outrage, Mina? Did they not teach you that at Princeton or whatever fucking Ivy League you went to? Did they not teach you that? Because you have it for Dave Portnoy about a story behind a paywall. Dalvin Cook's story is not behind a paywall. It's on fucking Twitter. You can find the tweet of this woman's face completely battered, and text messages between her and supposedly Dalvin Cook. So what is this? Why is there, like, Dave Portnoy's crime was having sex with some crazy chick from the looks of it. He didn't, that was the claim. Oh, it got very aggressive and I was crying. Okay. Sure. I'm sure. You went back for more, so couldn't have been that bad. And Dave, you got to be smarter. Why are you fucking chicks in the DMs, you fucking idiot? You're famous. Can you not have one of those famous relationships, with some model where you can just whatever with them? Why are you meeting up with girls that hit you up in the DM? Like, I don't even know if I would do that. If I don't know that person, I'd be like, yeah. You have an empire. You got employees, bud. Don't put your dick in crazy. This is very, very simple. The Kyle Rittenhouse cases. interesting. I don't know if you guys have paid much attention to it. Based on the people I follow, it looks like the prosecutor is completely fucking this up. But they also had no case. It was pretty early, and often there were video footage of Kyle being chased by people trying to harm him, possibly kill him, one of which was a pedophile, and the other had his own record as well. It was pretty clear from the video right from the get-go that Kyle Rittenhouse was acting in self-defense. You can question why a 17-year-old was out there with an AR-15. I question why people were rioting. I question the whole thing. You want to single out one individual, that's fine. I'm going to question the entire system. Why is it that last summer the country was fine with Democrats burning down the country? I want to know why that was fine. If we're going to discuss Kyle Rittenhouse bringing a rifle to protect businesses and protect himself from being burned and looted, why do we not question the psychopaths that were chasing him through the street? Why are they being held as moral arbiters? So as you can imagine, there's a lot of great responses to all this. It's funny because they're trying to make it racial. He killed a dude whose last name was Rosenbaum. Everyone knows that's a traditional African-American name, Rosenbaum. And they're trying to make this out to be some sort of race war. Interesting. And LeBron James, the lead intellectual of the NBA. Yeah, this man doesn't finish the books he starts, but he does want you to know he reads. And he weighed in. There's a video of Kyle Rittenhouse breaking down as he describes the event on the stand. And when I watch the video, I believe him because, you know, the way, if you're just kind of doing a little body language, it's like when he's describing it, it's like he's accessing this memory that he doesn't want to access. And he starts hyperventilating and he's having a hard time breathing. And it looks like what you would call PTSD from my untrained eye. It looks like a person who's experiencing PTSD. LeBron James says, "What tears? I didn't see one. Man, knock it off. That boy ate some lemon heads before walking into court. Crying face, crying face, crying face." This is funny to me because LeBron James is one of the biggest floppers in the fucking NBA. Like, this fucking loser is always falling down and pretending he's hurt. He's like a fucking soccer player out there. It's embarrassing. That alone is enough of a reason to never consider him the greatest basketball player ever. And this is a guy who lied about a hate crime taking place in Los Angeles at his home. This is a guy who refuses to speak out about the injustice that the Chinese government commits while the NBA profits in that country and abused players under their watch in their Chinese league. This is a guy who has been called a king since he was a boy. By the way, if you called LeBron James a boy, you'd be considered racist. But LeBron James, who has been a fucking multimillionaire since he was a teenager, thinks that this boy ate some lemon heads before walking into court. Well, that's interesting. I would call that projection. Because LeBron James is the biggest fucking phony in sports. This guy is one of the biggest losers that we've ever had in the professional sports world. I don't care how many fucking rings he has. He's had to buy all of them. He's never been able to be a guy that some GM could build around, that some coach could build around. He's been a guy that has to go and bring all of his friends into a city. By the way, they never want to play with him again after that, but they all go to some city. They all play together. It takes them a few years. They get a ring, maybe two, and then he leaves. And they want you to think this guy's the greatest. This guy's a fucking loser. And it is so embarrassing. This is so embarrassing. He's weighing in on an 18-year-old, and I'm going to say boy, because 18 years old is not a man. 18-year-old boy, 17 at the time, who is chased through the streets by a fucking pedophile, hit by a skateboard, assaulted, and he fucking headshotted the guy. And quite frankly, he should be getting an award. We should be thanking him. And LeBron James, who's nearly probably twice his age, because he's a fucking old piece of shit, is out here talking about how Kyle Rittenhouse ate some lemon heads before walking into court. This is what I think is hilarious. Rittenhouse's case is not racist. This is not the whole. I get why they hate Derek Chauvin. I think it's bullshit, but I understand why they hate him. Rittenhouse did not do anything against their cause. He shot a pedophile. He shot a pedophile and killed him in self-defense. And he shot another criminal in self-defense. But yet LeBron James wants this guy to go to jail. He thinks he's guilty. What? What does that have to do with fucking Black Lives Matter, LeBron? What does Kyle Rittenhouse have to do with your cause? You who want all the prisons emptied and hate the police, what does this have to do with your cause? This has nothing to do with your cause, and yet you think he's faking it. Fascinating. It's almost like they don't care about black people, and it's almost like they don't care about Black Lives Matter, and it's almost like they don't care about police abuse or government prisons or any of it. It's almost like they don't care about any of that. It's starting to feel that way, doesn't it? Because if this was I would understand it if Kyle Rittenhouse shot a Black Lives Matter protester in some interaction, and then you go, okay, then you got to take a side, which is, by the way, that's retarded. Everything should be judged on a case-by-case basis. Kyle Rittenhouse is a political prisoner. He's in there because they had to have somebody responsible. They can't hold the rioters responsible. That's too much to ask. Kyle Rittenhouse, they can hold responsible because he looks like a white devil. He's white. And that makes him the devil. And because he had a gun, and we don't like guns. Now, when Antifa has guns, we're fine with that. And when BLM has guns and they're shooting cops in the street, we're fine with that. But Kyle Rittenhouse, we're not fine with. Which makes me think LeBron James is not only a fucking retard, but also a racist. But that's just me. This is a guy that has a pathological tendency to be wrong. He has been wrong about everything. Every time he opens his stupid, fat fucking mouth, he's wrong. This guy has never been right about anything he inserts himself into. And it's embarrassing how the sports media fucking covers his ass. It's so embarrassing. And they act like we don't know. This was another great comment from Tara Dublin. Tara, don't call me Tara. Tara Dublin. She's a writer who's been published in The Hill. So it's the picture of Kyle Rittenhouse crying. And she's quote tweeting a guy named Kid Vicious, Kirk Acevedo, That guy says, I have zero sympathy for Kyle Rittenhouse. Black and Latino kids have been imprisoned and killed just for the color of their skin. He killed people. And then he puts hashtag kid vicious. I don't know why he's like, he's putting his own promotion in there. What a fucking loser. So let's just break that down. I have zero sympathy for Kyle Rittenhouse. This is a blue check mark, by the way. I have zero sympathy for Kyle Rittenhouse. Black and Latino kids have been imprisoned and killed just for the color of their skin. Okay, if you think that black kids getting killed and Latino kids getting killed or imprisoned just for the color of their skin, why do you want more people to be in jail? Like, what is it about? Why do you need more? Are you opposed to it or not? Because when I read that, it tells me you'd be fine with white kids getting killed and imprisoned just for the color of their skin. When the result should be, you should be gearing for zero kids being imprisoned and killed for the color of their skin. Kid Vicious thinks that because he killed people, he killed a fucking pedophile. This is a guy who would date women, single moms, so he could get with their kids. And he got fucking 5 counts against him for it. He shouldn't have ever been let out of prison. We should be thanking Kyle Rittenhouse for doing what the state was too shitty to do, for finishing the job. So Kid Vicious has no sympathy for Kyle Rittenhouse because he killed people, and meanwhile, black and Latino kids have been imprisoned and killed just for the color of their skin. First off, not true. Second off, if it's true, why do you want more of it? The goal should be zero, not, well, whites. Now it's the whites' turn. No, motherfucker. This is why I believe in national divorce. This is why I don't want to live in a country. They should have Kid Vicious should have no say over anyone's life except their own. And then they can die in a ditch. No, this is nobody's. This is their, like, this person should have no say on anything about us or me or you. They should have no say. Because, again, if you're a person who is bothered or you hate police violence, which, by the way, I do, I don't think, hey, man, blacks have been getting it hard for a long time. You know who should get it hard? White people. Asians should get it hard. Eskimos should get it hard. No. The zero, we want zero of it. It's not, we need to refocus who gets the injustice. It should be, we should eliminate the injustice. So fuck you, Kid Vicious, you fucking loser. But Tara Dublin, at Tara Dublin rocks. She quote tweeted him and said, with the picture of Kyle Rittenhouse sobbing, and she goes, "That's the same face Kyle Rittenhouse will make during his first time in the prison shower." Kyle Rittenhouse has been in prison, I believe, for over a year. And Tara Dublin would think it's funny if this child gets raped. Tara Dublin believes rape is funny. Isn't it interesting? I guarantee you this woman... Oh, this is great. Actually, I don't have to guarantee you this. This is somebody... This is her. This is an old tweet. She goes, "We do not participate in hashtag Roy Moore pickup lines because we do not make fun of sexual assault, but extra especially when it's kids." Okay, fair enough. Now it's funny if Kyle Rittenhouse gets raped in prison. Because, prison rape is a great source of comedy. Everyone's laughing around, forcing a young man into the fucking ground, holding him down, taking turns. Comedy. A comedy. This is what I love. These are the people who act like everything is offensive and how dare you, how dare you, how dare you. And then the moment something happens, they're like worse than everyone. They're worse. Like, these are the people who get mad about Chappelle's special, and then, which was like tame. And then they come out with this, which is like, oh shit. You're talking about a kid getting raped in a prison shower. And then now she spent the whole day going, oh, well, that's not what I meant. Yeah, okay, bud. You fucking idiot. This again, why do this person should have no say over your life. This is a person, they should not be allowed to vote. Their vote should not be equal to yours. So, yeah, we got to do something about this bullshit. I'm done. I'm fucking done. I can't handle these people. This is some nonsense. By the way, if you want to live in a world where prison rape is like a funny thing, that's fine. I'm fine with that. I don't care. You can make 9/11 jokes. I don't care. I really don't. But this whole new world order where nothing's funny and you're not allowed to joke about anything. And then, well, if it's the guy we don't like, then we can. They did this thing. They did this with Trump. Like, oh, you can't body shame. Body shaming is the worst. It's the same thing as racism. It's so offensive. You can be fat and healthy. They went years on that about how everyone is beautiful the way they are. We all come in different shades. Blah-de-da-da-da. And then the moment Trump comes in, they're like, you orange-faced little dick motherfucker. Yeah, okay. Great. Well, you're flat-chested. Yeah. Fuck out of here. These are the least intelligent people in the world. And that's who LeBron James is friends with. CNN had a great opinion piece. As I record this, it's Veterans Day. You know, Veterans Day, a very important holiday for I don't know. I've never been big. I don't like holidays in general. And then, like, we have Veterans Day, which honors veterans. And then we have Memorial Day, which honors people who died in a war. And I'm just like, guys, let's can we chill on the holidays? But everybody's got to weigh in on Veterans Day. And CNN wrote this today. This is an excerpt from an article. It says, we thank soldiers for their service because they devote themselves to protecting our freedoms, and we should. But we should also thank the media for the same reason, especially when the stakes have never been higher. Oh. Okay. All right. Yeah, you guys are the same as veterans. You guys are the same. You guys are the same. You're all the same. If you have reported in your news office based out of Atlanta, you're the same as somebody who is in Fallujah. It's the same. I just... like, who watches CNN? Who watches CNN still? What is their market? And how do we remove these people from society? I mean, if you believe this sentence that on Veterans Day, not only should we thank soldiers for their service, we should also thank the media for the same reason. I don't care what you think about journalism as an institution. The media is not that. The media is literally one of the worst entities in America. And it's indisputable at this point. You don't even have to sit there and go, like, you could completely disagree with me on everything, and you'd still go, well, yeah, Fox News sucks, Breitbart, blah, blah, blah. You would list all the conservative sides, Joe Rogan. You could list everybody that I listen to or like and go, yeah, you're the they're the problem. Okay. I may not even argue with you on that. This is a universal truth that the media is corrupt and broken. Like, it's not even close. So that's what they wrote today in honor of Veterans Day. So if you're getting mad because you're on Instagram and people are posting these blowhardy things about some fucking grandpa they had who died in some war or whatever, and you go, oh, Veterans Day, please reserve that energy for CNN today. Please, because they're the worst. They're absolutely the worst. I don't know. I don't know what we're doing here, guys. It seems like we've gone off the deep end. That's what it seems like to me. Joe Biden referred to Satchel Paige as a Negro today. He was a pitcher in the Negro leagues, and Joe Biden called him a Negro. And it's funny, Mediaite goes, no, he didn't call him that. And there's complete audio of him calling him the Great Negro. Oh, God. It's just so funny. Like, these people, they're just lying. I love how they just lie. Like, there's different kinds of lies, you know? Like, if you say, hey, Evan, I want to go see a movie this weekend. Do you want to go? And I'm like, oh, man, I'm busy. Like, okay, sorry. And then I'm not busy. I'm just like, don't want to go. But I tell you I'm busy. That's a lie. But, like, it's not the worst lie, because you're telling somebody a nice way of, like, I don't want to do the thing that you want to do. Sorry. And then there's, like, that thing you witnessed, that didn't happen. And you're like, what do you mean? It's like, it didn't happen. And you're like, well, it feels like it happened. I think I saw it happen. I think I listened to it happening. Like, well, it didn't happen. And then I click on it and it shows a whole video of it happening, and they're telling you it didn't happen. Like, okay, this is the world we want to live in. It's like, I think this is how it was going on in communist Russia. Like, no joke. It was just like, oh, yeah, your family's being fed. It's like, my family's starving. Like, no, your family's been fed. Like, we haven't eaten in weeks. Well, your family's been fed. It's like, we have no food in our fridge. Well, your family's been fed. Seems odd. Strange to me. Joe's having a hard time. We need to give him a break. I feel bad for him. He's too old for this shit. His wife should be arrested for domestic abuse. There's no elder abuse. There's no reason that this guy should be forced to do this. Oh, and this is a Slate writer, a writer for Slate named Joel D. Anderson. And he has a new rule for us, because I love it when people just, like, tell you how it is, like, this is how it is, and you all need to follow my thing now. And you're like, oh, you need to convince me first. And they're like, no, you just have to do it. And if you question it, you're an asshole racist. So Joel D. Anderson, who writes for Slate, goes, if you're not black and started using the woke pejorative sometime post 2018 or so, parentheses, or worse, don't know anything about the earlier iteration of the term, I think it's fair to consider it a racial slur. Okay. First and foremost, bitch, I've been saying woke pejoratively for like 7 years now. Okay, the term did not spring up in 2018. We have been aware of it for a long time. But he thinks that if you use it, it's fair to consider it a racial slur. By the way, it's a term you use. This is a term that you use, and now it is racist. It's a slur. It's the same thing as the N-word. He goes on to say, and it doesn't mean I'm going to do anything to you or that anyone else will, but it doesn't mean I won't either. That's an interesting threat. Oh, my God. And he goes, to close the loop here, because I have a busy day. He's very busy, guys. So, I'm going to throw out this controversial thing. I don't want to deal with this, because I love these people who make a crazy fucking proposition, some sort of allegation, and then they're just like, I'm turning off my mentions. Bye. It's like, you're the one who fucking blew up Twitter. You're the one who posted the dumbest shit we've ever read in our life. And then you're like, I'm busy. It's like, you should be dealing with this. you should be held responsible for what you've done to my timeline. Like, come on. This dude, to close the loop here, because I have a busy day. He's very busy. It's not a debate. Say what you want, and we could take it from there. Catch you in traffic. Is he going to fight me? Hey, man, I think woke is a accurate description. I don't think it's a racial slur. You want to fucking go, bro? Start throwing down on the fucking freeway. It's like, is it road rage? No, it's not road rage. It's woke rage. Hey, man, watch your language. This is the dumbest thing in the world. This is what I mean. These people, I love how they just lie. This is a term that they invented. Oh, by the way, he's contributed to ESPN, BuzzFeed. Oh, and he went to TCU. That's nice. Good Christian school. I just think it's so funny. Like, if you're not black and you use woke pejoratively, sometime post 2018 or so, or worse, don't know anything about the earlier iteration of the term, I think it's fair to consider it a racial slur. Oh, my God. I love this. First off, everyone I know who is like self-identified as woke is like a blue-haired preschool teacher. It's like one of these TikTok libs who's just like, I'm woke. And it's like, that's the racist. The racist is the white woman who thinks black people are incapable of doing anything ever. That's the racist. You want to talk about racist, it's the Democratic Party. And I'm not doing these like, oh, the real racists are the Democrats. I'm just saying the real racists are the people who infantilize you and make you out to be children and think you can't handle yourself. Joel. Fucking Joel. That's a white name. Huh. How dare you appropriate my culture, Joel? I will start calling you Joel. Joel D. Anderson. Listen, Joel. You may think that woke is a racial slur. I think it's an accurate description of brain-dead idiots. It sounds to me like you're mad that we caught on to your game. And this is what they do, is they invent new terms, and then they come up with new terms after that to signal who's actually right. Because, you have to stay up on the latest term. They'll say, now we don't say black people, we say people of color. Okay. Give it 3 years, and they're going to go, well, that's so 2021. Now we say blah, 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 blah. And then some guy will say people of color, and they go, oh, that's problematic. Got to lose your job. Fuck these losers. They're playing these language games. Listen to the language. Like earlier when I was talking about the lie. If they say, oh, it didn't happen, it's like, it did happen. But it didn't happen literally. Okay. Great. Like, this is how they play the game. It is goalpost moving upon goalpost moving. And then by the time, this is how, it's like a traveling snake oil salesman. You know, like you're going town to town with this snake oil. And then when everyone catches onto your game, you fucking leave and throw on a wig and a new mustache. So you don't get fucking killed. This is what they do. He has to come up. It has to be. We figured out woke, and now he has boomer parents talking about how people are woke and stupid. And he has to go, oh, fuck, I need a new thing. So if you're white or you're this or you're that and you use it pejoratively after 2018, so if I use it pejoratively before that, it's fine. Because I've been using it pejoratively for probably 10 years, it feels like. So if you, under my specific qualifications, I think it's fair to consider a racial slur because I have to make you a racist. Otherwise, you might just be a person winning an argument because Joel is losing. Joel is losing the argument. That's why he has to do this. You have to change the rules of the debate. You have to change the terms. And he's a liar. That's what liars do. This is why we shouldn't listen. Don't listen to people who cannot get their definitions right and are hard and fast with terms and all that. Don't listen to these people. They have nothing to offer except destruction. They're the worst. Really, they're criminals. They're word criminals. Because they're effectively trying to make it where you cannot. They're trying to silence you. They're trying to keep you from being able to speak openly. And they're trying to label you in a way, because this is what they do. They go, it's why people get called a racist. It's not because you're a racist. It's because they want their followers to just tune you out. Oh, you don't need to listen to that person because they're racist. This is the game. Stop playing it. And if you're one of these people that sees this and then you're like, oh, I'm surprised, like all fucking surprised at this point, I can't help you. There's nothing surprising about this. This is what they do. Tune them out. Make fun of them. Mock them because they're losers. LeBron James is a loser. This is documented. The guy has to buy championships in order to be considered the GREAT. The guy cannot finish a book if his life depends on it. Every time he weighs in on anything, he's fucking wrong. Just wrong. You had people fact-checking Cole Beasley all summer. They have zero interest in fact-checking LeBron James. Tune them out. Ignore them. The only way they go away is if you stop feeding them. Embarrass them, belittle them, mock them, cyberbully them, and for the love of God, maybe one day they will stop. They'll just have to stop. So that's my take. It's been a great show, guys. I appreciate you listening. Give me a follow on Twitter at 7th Evan. Give me a follow on Instagram at 7th Evan Pod. We're growing. We're becoming stronger, quicker, faster. We have all the listeners in the world. And part of what I'm trying to do is to clear out the less thans, the people like that, the people who think that LeBron made some good point there. I don't want them in my fucking life. I don't want them anywhere. I don't want them around me. I don't want them listening. So only share with people who are worth a damn. That's my show. You guys have a great one. I might record another one this weekend. We shall see. Until then, thank you. God bless. And God bless the United States of America.